Hello, welcome to MJR RPG. The following is a overview of my Call of Cthulhu scenario, Café Morte. As always, the first chunk of this overview will be spoiler light for players and keepers, while the second half is full of spoilers, so I'll warn off anyone before I begin there. In short, Café Morte is a interpersonal, skill-heavy, ultra-short, one-location scenario. Café Morte is the first scenario in a planned series I'm calling Flash Cthulhu, with the aim being to release one of these a month. They are mini-scenarios meant to be run in 1 hour, and after only a quick read-through by the keeper without any additional preparation, but also allowing for easy customization to fit whatever needs the group may have. I'm a big fan of Chaosium's Gateways to Terror scenarios, which are very detailed but also meant to be very short, with guidance on keeping the sessions under an hour, as well as the Seeds of Terror scenarios for being written very concisely and easy to run. I'm hoping Café Morte and Flash Cthulhu overall will be a combination of the two, with Gateways to Terror's detailed text giving keepers a very easy guideline to follow if they want it, along with Seeds of Terror's simplicity and low page count that allow for a quick turnaround between reading and playing, as well as Seeds of Terror's great variety between scenarios. And, of course, the main goal is for these to be ultra short. My playtest of Café Morte all ran in under an hour, and that's a goal I aim to strictly follow for all of the Flash Cthulhu scenarios. I want these to be scenarios that can be plugged into a narrow strip of time for busy groups, with as little preparation as possible needed from the keeper. I like to envision some friends meeting up at a convention between games or events and grabbing a table to jump into Café Morte for a 40-minute session between splitting up again. As the scenario is ultra short, it gets straight into the action, meaning I can't get much more into it without spoilers. The title and blurb should clue most players into what might be going on, though. It's set in a cafe and involves an unexpected patron. If that sounds vaguely interesting, or if you want your group to have a backup scenario ready to plug into a 1-hour time slot, this might be what you're looking for. Café Morte is available on DriveThruRPG, and as a thank you for reading or listening to this, they have a nice little quarter off the $1 price tag. The following section is full of spoilers, so if you're a player or just don't want to know what's going on, I would stop here. Café Morte is meant to put immediate stress on your players and force them to make use of their investigators' interpersonal skills. There is of course an option for violence, and if they do resort to bloodshed, it should be quick and brutal, but there are many options for them to avoid direct combat. The scenario is of course set in a little cafe, and the problem to solve is a clearly unhinged gunman entering the shop and searching for some people he means to shoot. The twist on the problem is that there is another group of patrons in the cafe that look exactly the same as the investigators. A classic don't shoot the real me scene, with the investigators as the ones being copied, and the guy with the gun not knowing who either group really are. Those other patrons are, of course, cultists in magical disguise, though the investigators won't know that at first. And so, the main thrust of the scenario will be the investigators trying to convince the gunmen not to shoot them, or to shoot their doubles instead, or potentially even working with their doubles to subdue the gunmen. The most difficult part of the scenario, when running, is dealing with the two parties of NPCs. Going along with the general rule of thumb for running NPCs, the keeper should avoid having the cultist and the gunman conversing with each other instead of the player characters. Try to have the NPCs be largely reactive to the players once the initial situation is established. If the players fall silent, the NPC should first directly address them. If the keeper still requires the NPCs to interact with one another, they can still have everything they say prompt the players to act, even if the cultists address the gunman or the gunman addresses the cultists. While the solution can be, quote-unquote, solved by the players through argument or violence, the quote-unquote best solution is through empathy. First calming down the gunman, then talking with him to gain a semblance of trust, and then learning his backstory gives the players the full picture of what is happening, as well as the most mechanical bonuses to convince the gunmen to trust them over their doubles. Or, as one of my playtests went, the investigators could trust the doubles over the gunman, subdue him, and then shoot him after the cultists use a dominate spell on the investigator with the gun. They still lived, so win in their books. If that all sounds interesting, and as a thank you for reading or listening this far to the end, have 2 quarters off the $1 price tag. Thank you for listening. As always, credit to Cryochamber for use of their album, Cthulhu. Till next time, have a good one.